Yes, but Derryn Hinch is with me, Senator Hinch. Righto, what questions?
You find it hard to say, don't you?
I do, yes. What?
Yeah.
What do you want to ask the banks?
Well, first of all, this is a Clayton's inquiry, and it's to head off the Royal Commission, and it won't. There will be Labor's got the numbers with the I think the Greens and the crossbench to get the Royal Commission up into the banks. And the question I'd ask them, first of all, when the Reserve drops the rate, why doesn't it happen instantly? I mean, from memory, when they increase the rate, it goes up pretty fast, doesn't it?
Right,
You know, so why don't they drop it? And they've got their things that are other in costs involved, but I think that's rubbish. Number two, the rapacious rates of credit card interest rates are totally out of kilter with everything else. And number three, I think there are questions you could be asking about almost cartel-like conditions between banks over something. It's almost worse than the petrol companies.
We see Scott Morrison's talking about jail terms, introducing jail terms for cartel-like behaviour between banks or anybody else. Do we need to go that far?
Well, if it's that bad, I can't see that ever happening. I mean, we couldn't. All the inquiries you had into petrol pricing and allegations of rigging, and you had Flint involved in that. All those people, we never got anywhere with it. You still see the ups and downs of the weekly petrol prices. So I can't see that happening. But there are certainly questions to be asked, and I think that the Labor, as I said, the opposition will get the Royal Commission up.
Isn't it? Yeah. Do we need a Royal Commission when
Well, okay, I'm happy with a Senate inquiry, just a full-scale Senate inquiry. See, I think we throw the word Royal Commission around too often because they're so expensive. But a fully-fledged Senate inquiry, which has subpoena powers, you can do it. I mean, I've now agreed that trying to get a national public register of convicted sex offenders, that I should first have a Senate inquiry so that people who are opposed to it can have their say and make submissions. And that's the way it should be. You don't need a fully-fledged Royal Commission into it. The same thing, Hanson and I fall out over this. I don't want a Royal Commission of the Family Court. I want a genuine, full-scale Senate inquiry into the Family Court and all child welfare agencies. To
start with the banks, if there is a Royal Commission or Senate inquiry into the banks, why stop at the banks? If they are private enterprise, they are businesses, they're running businesses, they're fairly transparent, and they're subject to the various ACCC laws. What about petrol? We go to petrol next. We have a Royal Commission or Senate inquiry into petrol.
Well, as I said, we've had those before.
Councils.
We've had those. Well, look, the banks, though, are such a rarefied. They started out as the four pillars. They were protected. They have been protected over the years. So I think they're a special case. It's not just to say every country and every company in the world, well, don't come to Australia because they have a Royal Commission in here.
Yeah, well, we effectively guarantee them.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Aaron, hello, Aaron. Go ahead.
Hey, gents, how are you going?
Okay.
Fine.
Look, I just wanted to talk about the scenario with the banks, the inquiry and a potential future Royal Commission. Look, I don't think the banks should get a free kick, and I certainly think they should operate within the law. But I think via superannuation, something like 80% of Australians have got some exposure to bank shares. And I think to take any measures against the banks, and obviously that would be the outcome of an inquiry or a Royal Commission, to take any action against them would be ultimately to affect their financial performance and therefore hit people in the super
Well,
area.
on my political, what do you call it, I've forgotten the name of the register now, the pecuniary interest register. I've listed my shares, and I have shares in several banks. So calling for a Royal Commission could hurt my shareholding, but I still believe there should be a Royal Commission into the banks.